Did you hear bullets going past you at all?
No, that's exactly what I was listening for, is bullets going past us, and once I stopped hearing the gunshots, we decided it was time to get out of there.
Now, the movie's going on. How tough was it to hear? At what point did the sound end, or did it end at all?
The movie just kept going, but, everybody was screaming and hollering and just trying to duck and cover that, the movie didn't matter anymore.
And the flashes of light, do you think that was a handgun or rifle? You may not have an idea on that perspective, but I'm wondering if you could tell.
Well, it was definitely, it wasn't a handgun. It wasn't a shotgun. I don't think it was a shotgun because he was shooting it really fast, really consistently. It's more than likely some type of rifle.
How many shots did he fire?
We heard about between 15 and 20.
You were able to get out with everybody else by simply running up the exits away from the shooter.
Yeah, everybody was just trying to cram out one door, and it was just a mad scramble.
Let's talk to Brittany now. You had some perspective I thought was interesting about the canisters. Do you see the canisters going up before the gunshots go off?
Yes, I saw the canisters going up in the air, one or more of them, and I saw like a smoke trail behind them and wasn't sure what was going on until later when they hit the floor and suddenly there was explosions and then the gunshots started after that.
So you think at least one, maybe more than one canister?
Yeah, I saw multiple smoke trails behind them up in the air.
How did that smoke affect you? How close was it to you?
We didn't actually feel it until we were heading up towards the exit, but we were pretty high up, so I'm sure the people down below felt it a lot sooner.
There's been some talk about the folks who were killed, 14 now, many others, dozens, possibly 50 or more injured. You saw children in this theater.
Yes, there were lots of kids, families there, and probably some of them might have got hurt, unfortunately, which makes it even more devastating.
Tell me about your feelings, your emotions, now that you've had a chance to process this. It's been 5 hours now. Any anger, any animosity? You were talking about how emotional you felt.
It's a very emotional situation because all those people were just innocent people watching a movie, and suddenly somebody comes in and starts killing them. I can't imagine what it was like to be up close and personal with that, let alone it was scary enough being farther away.
Scary enough to be there of all places at that time.
Yeah, so it's surreal. I can't believe that I was there. It didn't seem like it was really happening, but it was very real once all the gunshots and screams started.
I hope you're able to process that. Now that you've talked with police, did they offer you counseling or any assistance with dealing with some of your emotions?
The guy I was talking to gave me his card and said to call me any questions, concerns, anything I needed. So that was very reassuring.
Good to know. Let's talk about the mechanics if we can, Kevin, about the interview process here at Gateway High School. You folks were in the cafeteria at first?
Yeah, we were just, crowded in there, just waiting to be called out.
And then when they did that, did they call you individually? How did it go?
It was 2x2 or 3x3, and we were all just sitting at a table, taking notes.
They also took pictures of you, right?
Well, they took pictures of us with our information just so they could keep track of it.
And then when they interviewed you, it was done separately?
Yeah, it was separate, individual interviews.
Did they give you any other information about other suspects or anything they might be looking for?
No, they didn't give us any of that information, actually. Yeah.
Let's talk about your last chance here. Now that you've had a chance to process this 5 hours later, how are you doing?
It's funny because you can lose your life at any moment. So it feels like I have a new lease on life right now, just because I was very lucky.
Good to talk to you too. Glad you're all right. Brittany and Kevin in Theater 9. Frightening scenes. Going to see a movie, you see canisters flying in the air, you hear an explosion, then gunshots, you see the burst from the rifle itself as it's happening. Just an incredible scene. Here at Gateway High School, they are doing interviews. So if you've got folks who were in one of those theaters at the Century Theater Complex within the town center of Aurora, this is where they want you to go. They want to talk to you. If you don't know if your loved one or friend has been injured or worse, this is also where they want you to go to find out and try to reunite with those folks. We've seen some of those reunions. They've been very positive. But then again, we're reminded here how dangerous and devastating and frightening that scene was inside the theater. Mitch.
I just can't imagine. And as you said, so many people are still there on scene. The last thing on their mind is trying to go home and go back to sleep after going through such an ordeal. We're looking at a live picture now. Thank you, Tyler. This is that apartment complex that the SWAT teams and police exerited on over near Oswego and 17th.
Yeah, just about a block west of Peoria, and we believe this is where the suspect was living. The suspect did tell investigators at some point, we've been told, that he had explosives inside his apartment, so that's one reason we're seeing such a large presence there. This is a crime van, you can kind of see there in the lower left side of your screen. Pulling away, we know Marshall Zellinger is also there, our colleague who is gathering information from his perspective and learning what's happening in this area. Marshall, what can you tell us?
I believe we're about 2 blocks away from this apartment complex where we are at 17th and Oswego. You can see beyond these firefighters here and this police vehicle closer to 17th and Paris. The Adams County Sheriff's vehicle is that vehicle pointing at us with the flashing lights around it. We just saw some SWAT personnel walking to the left of that vehicle, which is actually going to be between 17th and 18th on Paris. Which is where we believe this apartment complex is being searched. The area around us is completely evacuated. Both Aurora Police and the fire personnel that were here went door to door and were making sure people were evacuated from the homes. The ropes that came out are probably, I want to say they've taped off at least 2 blocks in every direction, because we came in off of Colfax and had to stop right at I think 16th, and then 17th here is where we are on the, at Oswego's on the west side, and on the east side you're going to see Peoria is probably where they have the tape on that side. I was actually told from our vantage point from where we're standing here by one of the policemen here that if we want to be on this side of the street, that's no good, that's a little bit of a danger zone, we want to be on the south side of the street, but he didn't know exactly what was happening inside this tape. And actually this police tape just came up shortly after we got here. We were actually closer to that Aurora police vehicle just a short time ago, but we know whatever is dangerous or whatever the concern is in this section of this North Aurora neighborhood. And actually right here on Oswego you can see an ambulance being stationed here off of 17th and Oswego, but the activity happening 1 block behind these homes off of Paris Street. So we're going to continue to try to gather information here from the scene. But again, the suspected shooter from this theater shooting earlier this morning, believed to have lived in one of these apartments behind these homes and talked to officers about possibly having some explosives in the apartment, which is why this area is now evacuated and blocked off.
So again, for people just joining us, this is more of a kind of an investigative scene. It's not as though they think someone else may be in there, although they're being careful.
Correct, Mitch. They essentially don't know what is inside that potential apartment unit. And actually, I'm going to have James spin around. It's going to be a little difficult to see at night, but they're 1 block to the west here on this far intersection at the corner. That is some of the dozens of people that have been evacuated only for their safety, out of concern of what is in that apartment complex. Again, Mitch, as you said, not because of a concern that there is a second person that police are looking for. So a lot of people impacted by what happened early this morning.
And Marshall, trying to get an idea, a sense of how far you are away from that apartment, those people who are evacuated, how far have they been pushed back?
At least that 1 block, and they've kind of voluntarily been all the way back 1 block because they could be as close as we are, at least on this side of the street. And as I walk us back this way, again, the apartment in question, and I can still hear air tracker over our head, is going to be 1 block to the north and 1 block to the east of where we are and where these personnel are stationed straight across from our vantage point.
And we know you just arrived not long ago. Have you had a chance to talk to any of those folks behind you who you just showed us who were evacuated from their apartments?
Actually, I was talking with the police officers, and as soon as we're done here, I'm going to go find out what happened with the evacuation and how they were notified and how long they've been out here.
It'd be interesting to hear, too, if any of them knew this person who was described only as a 24-year-old white male in custody.
Absolutely, we'll be working on that and I'll get you the update as soon as I can.
All right, well, let's get back to work, Marshall. Thank you for that update. Again, at the apartment scene, you can see it from high above here on Air Tracker 7 here at 17th on Oswego. And I'm curious, because as you're trying to get up and get on with your day, you folks watching at home, Jason, do you have any idea whether, I know nearby 17th Oswego would be Colfax and Peoria, any problems there for people trying to get to work or school right now?
No, as you see from Air Tracker 7's picture here, what we're looking at to the left side of the screen was Peoria. It is open now. The right lane was restricted there. This is the parking lot there. That's the bomb deal there, the trailer there that the Aurora police have. just in case there were any explosive devices they found in that apartment. But it's going to be Paris. It's going to be closed down just a block west of Peoria. Colfax is going to be unaffected. We're 2 blocks north of there, so that's not going to be a problem. Peoria right now looks like it is open. Paris is a very lightly traveled street, only about a neighborhood at this point.